Hey Brick Will here, and today we're looking at set 21360, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Now, I was actually not exactly sure if this was going to be based on the book or which of the movies, but it is based on the 1971 film, which is why it's called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This will retail for $219.99, releasing on September 1st. This is well, when it comes to sets of this price point, they usually make them dense in terms of lots of detail, but they'll do one of two things. They'll either make it wide or they'll make it tall. This one's wide. Before we get to it, let's look at minifigures. You do get 9 minifigures. So let's start with this batch. So from your left, my right, we've got Willy Wonka, based on Gene Wilder's character. It is nice to see his crazy hair molded into his top hat. Then you've got 2 Oompa Loompas. Now their orange faces do have another expression. It's usually just serious or smiling or different types of expressions, but they are different from one another. Everything else about them are the same. So same wig, same legs, same torso type of stuff. Then you have Grandpa Joe, which is Charlie's guardian, and you got Charlie Bucket himself with a golden ticket. Speaking of golden ticket holders, we have the other 4 children who have the golden tickets. We have Augustus Gloop, who has the tall legs to show that he's taller than the rest of them, and it gets his shorts printed on his legs. You have Violet Beauregard. It's sad that we don't actually have a blown-up purple version of Violet when she started turning violet. Then you have Veruca Salt, and she has a little skirt that's the hard plastic. I saw them mostly in the Trolls sets, so it's nice to see them here again. And you have Mike TV. Now, all the ones with short legs here, unlike the Oompa Loompas, Charlie also has them, they're the short legs that do move. So you can reposition these characters. I do like on the back, especially for Mike, they gave him a neck bracket so that he could put his cowboy hat on, slung back, as if it's just resting on a cord around his neck. All right, now, I did say it went wide. So, this is a very broad set. And it's kind of hard to see all the natural flow of the set with all the plants on it. So let's cut to a partially built set. I think it was 5 bags in. We finally finished the base, and we get to take a closer look at the mechanism of the chocolate waterfall. So let's cut to that. All right. So in this particular stage, we're 5 bags in, and as you can see, there's a lot of rounded elements throughout the entire base of the model. This helps with organic models so that each scene in the overall composition organically flows into one another, and you don't have the sharp edges distracting the eye from any one particular detail. Also, we have the bare bones of the waterfall. As you can see, they use these ball joint type gears to turn the bottom gear. These gears are very helpful for large scale things because they can move easily. They don't have a lot of slippage like you would have with smaller tooth gears. They interlock very easily, and they can help move more large scale models without having to put a lot of wear on the gears themselves. Another important thing is, so for the waterfall itself, you have the setup of 3 gears. The top 2 gears are purely for keeping the structure of the belt, the vertical belt, and the driving gear is the one that's on the bottom. Now, whenever you're doing a belt, it's important to put whatever the driving gear is at either end. Sometimes they hook it up so that both the end gears are driving the force. But in a case like a vertical belt, it is so wiser to put the gear at the bottom. And the reason for that is because the important pulling action of the gear works well with the gravity of the belt going downwards. If you had put it at the top, not only are you having to pull the belt along, but you're also trying to pick up the belt with gravity. So you're fighting against gravity, whereas if you put it on the bottom, gravity of the belt is pushing down, so it makes it easier to turn. And this is just a brief look, so back to me. All right, we're back. Okay, now that we have the more pretty version, we can look at a few of the features. So they did change the layout from the Lego Ideas to move this bridge further back here, which actually corresponds with the movie. They did add the boat, which wasn't part of the original Lego Ideas, which is a very good addition. We'll take a closer look at that. The waterfall does move, but it's going to be a physically manual process and not a motorized process. This process is pretty simple. It's just operated back here with those little bubbles. You turn it the correct way, and it's, well, operating differently from here because it's supposed to go that way. You can turn it the opposite direction, just in case you wanted to look at the waterfall from this angle, look like it's flowing. Every angle of this model is pretty. So you got the big pipes that Augustus gets stuck in, the bubblegum trees, you've got the lollipops, you've got a little pathway in front, you've got texturing all throughout the chocolate river. Then you have the one feature that I'm not sure works. It's the forced perspective for the line of lamps, where the one in the far front is the biggest one, and then they progressively get smaller to give you that sense of depth. The only reason why I don't think it works is because when you look at the stuff around it, it's not scaled like the lamps are. So therefore, it kind of broke my illusion of it. Another bubblegum tree. And then if we look at the back, we do have a few features inside the mountain. At the base is Wonka's office with a bunch of his half stuff. So there's going to be a half sink, a half chair, a half painting, which is a sticker of a potted plant. There is the tiles that are decorated with the wallpaper you can taste. That also hides a hidden door that leads out to the front area. Then on the second floor, you have a wheelbarrow that's brick built for the Oompa Loompas. Since they are short legs, they can't use a normal wheelbarrow. And then you have a TV that Mike gets shrunk down into, and you have a very, very tiny version of him on a sticker back there. Another interesting sticker, which I'm actually surprised they did, is on the second floor of the mountain, there is a sticker for a bag of sugar. It goes on a 1x2 brick, and it just says sugar. I'm surprised they didn't actually make that a print, since that's something that I could see them using. Okay, as for the boat, it does fit through the bridge, and all the designs on it are stickers. This is, oh, well, except for the top parasol, that is actually printed just because it's hard to work with a dish. You've got the rudder, you got the front area. Everything's built on a lot of brackets, so it becomes a very delicate build. The nice thing is they managed to get it to the right small scale size to work with the model, while at the same time providing enough seating for a lot of the main characters to sit down on, so you can have Wonka steering the boat, 5 kids plus Grandpa Joe sitting on the various seats, including the center ones that don't have backs. It is a little ominous, the fact that the umbrella element looks like it's being held up by sides, but then again, that is Willy Wonka's factory. Overall, $220, yeah, you get your parts with this. I'd say the majority of the parts come from just making the large base, because there's a lot of large wedges, a lot of large plates in here, so it's a lot of plastic. It may not be as tall as you're used to with something that might cost $200. And the plate features, though nice, are kind of understated. I mean, yeah, there's the water fountain or waterfall, there is the boat to play with, and there's a few scenes in here to play around with, but it's not a play intensive set. It's a very pretty set that can be put out pretty much in the middle of anywhere and look good from every angle. So if this interests you, check it out. It's set 21360, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.